Hey everyone, I had one of you write me a really interesting question / request on Instagram yesterday, and you wanted more videos that are personal to me, and I was surprised because I'm quite boring. I'm going to share with you every job I've ever had, a little bit about my childhood growing up, because that's sort of like the foundation, the base to all of it. And then I'm going to tell you how I went from cleaner to company director. It wasn't in a day. Took quite a long time, but I'm going to share with you how I did it, and if anything, if this only entertains, then that's good. Right, so bit of background on my family. My dad is a builder, my mum is a stay-at-home mum. My dad would go out to work, and the money he earned that day paid for the food that day. It wasn't a bad childhood, it was brilliant. I have no complaints. It was really good, and if anything, I'm really glad that I had that childhood, because it gave me the hunger and appetite to actually change my life. My first job was when I was 13. You can't get a job when you're 13 because you're too young, and I was really thinking about ways that I could earn money. Every so often on weekends I might go to shopping centres with my friends from school, and I wanted to be able to enjoy a day out shopping in the way that they could, where if they saw a pair of shoes or if they saw a dress, they could get it. Whereas with me, I had my £5 and that was paying for my lunch that day. So I could see what was achievable, but I didn't have it, but I wasn't upset about that. And I'm still that sort of person. If someone has got something that I like, I have never ever felt, I don't even understand how you can feel envious. Instead of feeling envious, turn that energy into, how am I going to get it? My first job, I started washing cars, and I would walk down the road where my parents live. I knew a lot of the neighbours anyway. You'd knock on the door on a Saturday, you'd be like, can I wash your car, please? And then they would feel terrible turning essentially a child away, so you get the job. And then over the course of time, you do a good job. People actually do want you to clean their car because they haven't got to go anywhere. You do the inside and the out, you make it all look nice. So I was doing that up until I got to 15. I got my first job and I was working as a cleaner, and I was working at an old person's home, like a retirement home. There was probably around about 100 patients in there, and each patient had their own room with an ensuite bathroom of it. So you'd start work at 7 in the morning, you'd finish at 6 in the evening. You had a cleaning trolley that had everything you needed on it. You'd wear like the full cleaning outfit. What is it called, like a tabard or whatever, and you would go around and you would go room to room, you clean every room. There would also be communal bathrooms, you do all of that. First week there, it was a massive slap in the face, because first of all, 7 AM is horrific. It takes a long time to get used to that, particularly when you've been at school all week and really you don't want to spend your Saturday doing that, but you know that in the long term it's going to be worth it. But secondly, any cleaners out there, let me know if you feel the same way. You have to get your head around things you see when you clean that are kind of gross. Hair in plug holes, sorry, if you don't, even the thought of that makes me like gag. One day there was a poo on the floor next to the toilet that hadn't made it in. But if I'd had that on my first day, I'd have been like, I can't do this, I'm out. I did it like every Saturday, but then also school holidays were quite good because you could earn more money by doing more days. So I would do a Monday to Friday, because although it killed you and by the end of each day your body physically hurt, the money ended up being really good. Then when I got to university, I couldn't do that job anymore because I'd moved away, and the job that I got when at university was I was working as a receptionist at a car dealership. Big recommendation to you is, if you are in an early job like being a cleaner or whatever, like being a waitress, any of those jobs that you might do when you're still in education and you think, you know, this isn't what I want to be doing long term, those are the jobs that you learn the most from. Honestly, that cleaning job taught me how to be respectful to that. Like, it taught me first level what it's like to have a manager, and for you not to have an attitude about it, but to realise, hey, they're my manager and they've got a manager that's on their head if I don't do what they want. Never look at those jobs and think that you're never going to take anything from them, because when you move on in future, you take a lot from them. And that cleaning job, I think about it so often, like so often. The customer service job was terrible. It wasn't so much the job itself as the people there. I have done a video on this that I'm going to link to below, where a colleague framed me for a robbery. Honestly, it was that bad. The one thing about this particular job that creeps me out to this day, and David is the same, is I was working weekends, and when I graduated I couldn't get any work anywhere else, and there was a girl doing that job already 9 to 5 through the week, so that wasn't an option. She kind of like left pretty quickly. I then got offered the job in the September, but the creepy thing is I was in that job for 2.5 years, and did I try to get out of it? Oh my god, I mean, I had nothing to do in that place. So Monday to Friday was me updating my CV, sending out to recruiters, phoning recruiters. That's pretty much what I did for 2.5 years. Just towards the end of the 2.5 years, I met David, who is now my husband. He came in and he was a customer, and I met him that way, and we would like chatting and stuff like that. Then I didn't realise it, but he'd taken my business card off my desk, and then one of my colleagues phoned him up, and I was actually stood behind my colleague at the time, and he was like, I'm gonna phone David and tell him you like him. And this guy was always joking on me, so I just thought it was a joke. And he picked up the phone and was like, hi David, yeah, there's a lady here that really likes you. And I couldn't stop laughing in the background because I thought he was just on the phone to no one. And then he put the phone down, and I got an email from David going, oh, I heard you like me. And I was like, what? Anyway, I'm glad that he did it in the end. We started going out. Suddenly I was getting accepted for interviews, and I was out of that place so quickly. And it was really weird because we always say this now, this sounds really cheesy, but I really do believe that your life is mapped out for you. Isn't it funny that I was stuck in that place until I met my husband? My next job after that, and this is really where I started to get into earning decent money, but also I was doing what I was qualified to do, and I was doing what I wanted to do. I started working for a marketing sort of advertising agency. I basically managed to treble my salary, and I got this job that was like manager level, and I was like, how has this happened? And that was another place where I learned really hard and I learned really fast. The next job that I did after that, and I doubled my salary. You want to make sure that you are earning more than what you're on now. My sort of focus is I always wanted to be earning at least what my age was. Does that sound silly? That was just me. And by the way, I don't want to make anyone feel any way by this video. I'm just telling you what I'm like. I'm really focused. I'm really tenacious when it comes to that, and I know what I want, and that's just how I've always done it. So my next job, I was working the next level up, and I did the next job not only for the money, but I did it because at the previous job I was at, they wouldn't give me the promotion. So I left and got the promotion elsewhere. Sometimes you got to do that, even if you like where you're working. I actually quite liked that place in the end. I think about it loads. I think about the people there loads. I really enjoyed it, but I got to a point where I thought I can either stay here because I enjoy it, or I can push myself because I know in the long term that's going to be better for me. So I decided I want to be director by the time that I'm 26, 27. And it was a really ambitious thing to want. However, because of the tactic I told you about, I climbed the ladder pretty quick by this point. And I was like, well, I've already climbed it to this point. There's no reason why I can't get to the next level. So I'm working in this job, and I've been there a couple of months, and I said to them, like, this is what I'm aiming for, just so that you know, I want director. And it took so much work, the stress. I was up against someone else who also wanted it, and they were like, well, there's only one director job. Because I was younger and I was a woman, I felt like I had to prove myself and be a lot tougher. I've got the promotion. I ended up getting another promotion a year later, and I went from director to senior director, and I was like, yes! I felt so proud of myself. I've been at this particular job a while. I was kind of getting a bit bored. You know, I just thought I want more responsibility. I want more of a challenge. I was already doing a bit of freelance work on the side. So marketing consultation, designing and building websites, email campaigns. I was doing those on the side, and I thought, well, I'm already doing those, and I've been doing them for around about 2 years before I left. If you are thinking about quitting to start a business of your own, please do not just quit and then try and start the business. start the business while you're in full-time employment, because if it doesn't work, you're going to figure that out and you've still got someone helping to pay your bills. After thinking about it a lot, I bit the bullet. It was the scariest thing I've ever done, honestly. I think out of everything, it kind of thrilled me, but at the same time it scared me. And I always say, if ever in life you do something and it scares you a bit, that's a good thing. I started working for myself and I paired up with my husband. He also was a director at another agency. It was more analytical, and he's always been more analytical. I'm like more creative. It is a rewarding job and I like it, but you would think, even if you don't like your job, you would think, oh, when you work from home, you can wake up when you want and you can do what you want. Yeah, you can, but how scary is it? Let me just say this. You don't know how scary it is to not have a regular salary each month and to know that you have got to keep the money coming in to pay the bills. Honestly, that puts a whole other level of stress on your head. Honestly, it really does. But at the same time, it is rewarding. It is really nice that if you decide you want to change the direction of the business, you can do it. It's not like you're a cog in a bigger company and you don't really have that say. Every single job I've done has taught me something, but those jobs you do right at the beginning, those jobs that you think, what is the point of this, and you resent doing it, they are the ones that give you a grounding that money can't buy. Can you let me know if you like these videos, if you would like any more, if there are any other aspects that you want me to talk about. I'm going to link to what I'm wearing in the description below, including like lipstick and stuff like that. Thank you again and have an amazing week.